Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we're gonna be jumping into Lightroom and I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to draw attention to your subject using the best tools in Lightroom so that you can take a photo that looks like this into that. All right, let's get into it. I had the privilege of shooting photos and video for Beast Rent, which is a short-term and long-term rental company that's renting out Teslas throughout different cities here in Europe. And this was a pretty intense shoot because I literally had to shoot the photos and videos all within 1 hour by myself. And it was partly my fault. I only budgeted myself 1 hour of time in the day. In the end, considering the time frame that I had and the conditions that I was shooting in, I was pretty happy with how the photos turned out. But these photos definitely didn't look like this coming straight out of camera, rather they look like this. There's quite a difference between the before and after these photos, so that's why I thought that in today's episode, I would show you guys my favorite tools in Lightroom to draw your attention to the subject. So whenever I start editing my photos, I always first add a base grade. So right now I've been using my TH Blue Orange preset, which I really like the look that it creates. But when I look at the photo, I can obviously tell that it's very underexposed still. So I'm gonna use the exposure slider to just increase some more exposure, maybe bring in some highlights. I'm gonna see, should I increase the shadows a little bit? No, I kinda like the way it looks. Then let's play with the temperature and the tint. So let's make it a little bit colder. Nah, I kinda like it warm, but maybe it's a little bit too magenta-y. There you go, right away. So at 6050 temperature Kelvin, and then I have a tint of +10. That already looks a lot better. So this was before. It's quite underexposed, but I did shoot on purpose like that. Then with the preset applied and some adjustments, I'm already have the photo looking like this. Now, even though this looks pretty good already, there's a few tools that I want to use to draw my attention to the Beast Tesla car. And the first thing that I often use is the spot removal. Spot removal allows you to remove all these unnecessary things in your photos to just declutter the photo, clean it up, and draw your attention to the main subject. Now, when you click spot removal, there's two selections. You can do clone or heal. The clone tool is gonna take the exact same thing that you've chosen. So for example, if I click here and choose that part, it's gonna just completely take that piece and put it over there. Now the problem is it usually doesn't blend in very nicely, and I'd only use the clone spot removal if I want to maybe replicate like, you know, a light pole somewhere or something that I want to replicate exactly. But if I just want to remove something, I use healing, because healing is gonna remove it and then blend it with something more naturally. So when I look at this photo, the first things I see right now that I don't enjoy are all these little plants around the horizon. I want a nice clean horizon, and I feel like those plants right there don't look good. So I'm gonna go through and just remove them all one by one with the heal spot removal gone. And you gotta play around with it a little bit just to make sure that it looks natural and good. You might have to go one by one and just do it more precisely, but slowly you're gonna get rid of every single plant. These ones are gonna be a little bit harder because they're touching something with a straight line much more, but I think we're gonna manage to be able to get most of these bushes out anyways. Let's see. That's pretty good. It's a little bit messy there, and if I'm doing this for real, maybe I'll do. Actually, yeah, with the clone, it looks a little bit better here because I can just completely take it out. Again, I'm gonna take out this just to make it clean and straight. And I'm just gonna keep going through and cleaning this all up until I've gotten rid of every single bush in the photo. Few more. And voila, now we've taken off all the bushes. So you can see before and after, it's already looking a lot cleaner. There's a few more things that when I open up my eyes that stand out. I ended up forgetting to leave the lights on inside the Tesla, so I'm just gonna remove those lights just because I feel like they just stand out so much in the car and I don't want that to look. As well, there's the little key lock thing on the Tesla cars. I don't think these look very good, so I'm just gonna remove that as well. I don't know if that's a big no-no, but I just did that. Already, if I go now, the before and after looks much cleaner. Your eyes are being directed to the Tesla Beast car. So I really like that, how that's looking already. As well, I often would look in the foreground. Is there any rocks or anything that are really sticking out? I don't feel like there isn't too much here. Maybe this one, much better. There's a little rock here that's maybe standing out a little bit. I just like to clean everything up so that your attention is not distracted by these. Rather, it's going to where it should be going, which is the Tesla. Now, in all the photos that I take, I would always go through this step of first cleaning up the photo, and it could be anything that just stands out to my eye and just distracts me from the subject. It could be a cigarette butt on the ground, or graffiti on a wall, or a crack in the road. Basically, anything that I feel like is distracting, I will remove with spot removal. And it does take some time, but I really think it cleans up the image, and it's a step you shouldn't skip. Now, once I've done the spot removal, the next tool that I love using is the radial filter. So you can go over here and choose Radial Gradient, and you can just drag and select it to cover your subject that you want. You can use these handles here on the left or on the top and bottom to just increase it bigger. And then, obviously, I don't want to impact the car, but I want to impact everything around it, so I can press invert over here, and now you can see that the mask is going outside of the car, which is what I want to do. Now, with the feathering, if you have it at 0, it's going to look like a spotlight, really harsh edges, but if you have it at 100, it's going to just gradient all the way to the middle. I like to leave it maybe in between like 30 to 60, just to, you know, have a nice well-rounded gradient. And I think right now that looks pretty good because it's surrounding the car, but it's not impacting the car itself too much. We'll refine the edges a little bit more. Now I just take off the overlay because I want to see what it's doing. But for this shot, what I would love to do is just create a vignette around the car to just really bring your focus to the Tesla car. So I'm just going to bring down the exposure a few. I'm going to maybe go a little bit more, like minus 0.80, and then I'll just increase the actual exposure of the whole photo just to balance it all out. And already you can see that's the before and after. We can show you without the mask and then now with the mask. I feel like right away when you put the mask and you have that nice vignette on the photo, your eyes are going much more quickly to the Tesla rather than before. It's just being pushed to that center. So using a radial filter, it's really easy. You can just surround your subject and just darken the outside, make a little vignette to draw your attention to the subject. You can as well do this the other way where you want the subject to be lit up from the background. So sometimes maybe you want the subject to be a little bit brighter. So you just do it the other way where you would have the mask inverting to the inside, and then you just would increase the exposure. But because in this shot, the Tesla is darker than the background, I want the background to go darker and the Tesla to stay just as bright as it was. So that's how I would use the radial gradient. Look how good this looks already after adding my base preset, doing a few white balance and exposure changes, doing the spot removal, and now the radial gradient. That was before, and this is after. Now, before I share with you guys the last tool in my Lightroom editing workflow, I want to give a quick shout out to this episode's sponsor, and that's Motion Array. Motion Array is the best place to get all of your assets. I'm talking titles, motion graphics, transitions, anything you might need for your projects, Motion Array has got them. They have over 700,000 high quality premium assets, and it doesn't matter what editing program you're using because they've got you covered. They got plugins and templates for Final Cut Pro, Premiere Pro, After Effects, Motion, and even DaVinci Resolve. And just look at how easy they are to use. If you want clean, modern titles, just drag and drop and change the text and you're ready. Or what about if you want to add some cool motion graphics using these arrows to highlight different points in your video? Just drag, drop, and you're ready to go. Or if you simply just want to add some cool transitions, throw in some light leaks and you're ready to go. Having motion array in my back pocket has not only sped up my whole editing process, but it's as well unlocked a whole new level of quality in my videos. So if you want to take out motion array for a spin, they have a monthly subscription that's 20 bucks a month. And if you use the link in my description right now, you can get $50 off with the annual subscription. So jump on that and take advantage of all the premium assets from motion array. Now, the final tool that I love using is the standard brush. So I go here, create brush, and I want certain details of the car to really stand out. So with the brush, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add texture, maybe 25, 30. I'm gonna add some clarity, and then I'm gonna add some exposure. I'm gonna brighten up those spots. So I'm gonna try using 0.30 here. And what I'm gonna do is first, I'm gonna brush in the rims because I want those to really stand out. I think they look really cool on the Tesla cars. And as well, I want the Beast logo to stand out in the car. So I'm gonna brush the whole side of the car like that. And already here you can see the before, it's kind of looking flat, not really popping out. And now with the texture, clarity, and a little bit of exposure increase, right away the B sign and the rims are standing much more. As well, I could, you know, do the little mirror here, these parts right here, maybe the back light, these front, just to accent the different, you know, accessories of the car. But look at that. Let me show you the before photo. So it's quite underexposed, flat, boring. Voila. I have a photo where your eyes immediately going to the car, the different details are popping out, and just with a few tools, I was able to accomplish that. If you've never used these tools before, I would highly recommend start incorporating them into your editing workflow. It is a few extra steps, but they're really gonna make your photos pop because you're gonna be like just drawing the attention to the subject. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I've been really enjoying shooting photos again, so I'm gonna be doing more and more Lightroom tutorials, and I'd love to hear from you guys what you'd want to learn more about my editing style, my workflow, or anything you wanna learn about Lightroom. And remember again, click the link in my description if you're interested in motion array, and you'll get 50 bucks off by using the link in my description. All right, guys, we are out of here.